Hey everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pro Series podcast. This is episode 53 with Alex from Alex's DIY and Home Renovations. He is a creator on social media. I get to talk to him how he quit his job to be a full-time creator on social media. We kind of go over the difference between creator and influencer. Again, I know we've done that before, but we get his intake on it, and we also get why he started this. So if you're interested in home renovations and maybe don't know what to do in a home renovation, definitely look him up, listen to this episode. But before we enter this episode, please make sure you rate, subscribe, and review the Pro Series podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts. And now I hope you enjoy episode 53 with Alex. Thank you, Alex, so much for joining me on the Pro Series podcast today. I'm excited to talk to you.
Yeah, Eric, thank you for having me. It's an honor.
Yeah, I mean, is this your first podcast?
So I hosted a podcast for 11 episodes. I just stopped like 2 months ago. It's the Real Life Renovation podcast.
Okay.
I might start it up a second season, but it's a lot of work. So
Yeah.
I commend it. You've just been killing it. So I think you're over 40 episodes deep at this point?
Yeah. I think 43 comes out this week. So yeah, it is a lot of work. If you have someone to help you out, it's always better, but I don't.
I love it. Man, it's a grind, but definitely, providing a ton of value. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, just teaching people. And then that's Andrea reached out to me a while ago with your contact, and I just thought, I looked over your social medias, and it was you're doing something different than a lot of the people that I've had on here. You're kind of making it like a DIY for dummies type of thing on your social media. Tell me about that and how it kind of came about. And I know you off camera, you're telling me about you were an engineer before and you kind of left and just started this full time. So start from the beginning on how you all started into this.
Yeah. So I went to University of Maryland, got my civil engineering degree. Actually got my grad degree as well, worked for the basketball team while they helped pay for my grad degree. It was amazing. Project management. And then ultimately I had a decision whether I wanted to be a college basketball coach or go into engineering. I decided to just be, go into the normal 9 to 5 life. And I could always get my fix with basketball through my kids or whatever later on in life. And I worked for a company called Clark Construction, which is multi-billion-dollar. They do huge projects, like they built the Golden State Warriors arena and stuff like that. So I was working on a hospital, managing subcontractors, and it was really cool. We were building like a $50 million hospital here in Baltimore, and I got a chance to walk around a construction site and literally see a hospital be built from digging a hole in the ground to 11 floors up throughout a 2-year span. And walking around the construction site, just seeing all these things happening. And I was like, I was very naive to thinking how easy it was. I was like, oh, these guys are slinging up drywall. That must be easy. Plumbing doesn't look that hard, this and that. Because you see these professionals that have been doing it for years or decades.
Yeah, and,
easy. Yeah. So I was just like, oh, that can't be that hard. But fast forward like a year into it, in August of 2020, my wife and I bought a house. It wasn't like a super fixer-up. It wasn't like, oh my God, there's cockroaches running around and things like that. But it definitely needed some love. So, us being pretty young and not being able to afford to, all these expensive renovations, we decided to renovate our laundry room. And again, being naive, we thought we were going to tile, backsplash, shiplap, all these crazy things in like 2 days in a weekend, and ended up taking a month. But right from there, I fell in love with it. And the social media part didn't even start yet. That came like a couple months later, where friends were like, oh, this is pretty cool. You should casually post some stuff. And I posted one video like February of 2021, maybe. And it went pretty viral because I was just kind of keeping it real life renovation, as I like exactly like I said, DIY for dummies. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm learning on the fly. Here's the mistakes I made, and just kind of kept that same narrative throughout. And it's been a blessing.
Yeah. So when you started the social media, do you like kick yourself for not shooting a lot of content of all the projects you did beforehand?
Yeah. And you know what the funny thing is? We had some bits and pieces of content because originally I was like taking videos or pictures as a joke, sending them as Snapchats to friends like, oh, about to pour self-love and concrete, like keep me in your like prayers today or something funny. So we have like some bits and pieces that I've tried to put together, but yeah, there's a lot of missed out opportunity there with some of the projects we started with.
Oh yeah, I forget. I mean, I feel like a lot of people forget about like when you're posting these stuff of how much detail you have to think about just to create the post itself while you're actually thinking about doing the project. It's
Oh
like
yeah,
double the work that you're not expected at all.
easily. And I'll get so many. Instagram's like, it's great. The community there is amazing. It's usually just like positive stuff, but TikTok, they'll come for blood.
Yep.
Which is how I got my start. So again, like I'm not gonna hate on it, but yeah, they'll be like, this is all you got done in a day, or this is how much you've gotten done in like the last 2 weeks. And it's like, yeah, man, like you gotta, edit the videos, do the voiceover, make the caption, and then, if you actually care, you'll respond to comments and messages, and that takes up a ton of time. And yeah, it's a lot.
Yeah. One thing I really like looking at your social media now that how as you look at the thumbnail of the picture, like if you're just looking on your profile, you actually describe what each video is. So you don't have to scroll through every single video if you're trying to find something specific,
Yeah.
which is very cool. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, and I tried to make it like a journey. Like I just finished my basement. So I did day one of finishing my basement by myself, day two, day three. And I thought it was a pretty cool way to go about it and fun way because I was like learning with other people. I have like, novices following me and people that are kind of just interested in seeing like, oh, that looks cool. Let me follow along. But I also have like contractors and professionals that'll follow me and they'll DM me like advice all the time. And it's been an honor because mainly on TikTok, those same contractors are just like giving it to me like, you don't know what you're
Yeah.
doing, blah, blah, blah. But then on Instagram, like I'll get DMs like, hey, check out this product. I think it'll, help you a lot, or you should try this technique, blah, blah. So it's been fun. Just kind of making it like a journey.
Yeah. Is it hard to show in a video what you're doing, like
Oh
detail
yeah.
oriented?
Yeah, and that's the thing is if you want to get detail oriented, you can, but then you're gonna get way less done.
Yeah.
That's why so many people will do the time lapse of like an hour, and they'll just it'll be one still shot, which is fine, and that's what I kind of started doing at first. But then you lose attention if you're watching it. It's not
Yeah.
as fun as some jump cuts to like a time lapse of 5 seconds, then you jump to like a close up shot, and then this and that. So yeah, there's a lot that goes into just the content part.
Yeah, you probably skip some stuff just because it could get a bit really, really, really boring and
Yeah.
you'll lose views like crazy.
And that's the thing, because you got to think about it. Like when I was doing my basement, it took me like probably 3 or 4 days just to, finish the drywall between mudding and taping and stuff. And it's like, how many days in my stories can I make this actually enjoyable to watch? Like, one day, like I'll kind of go into the nitty gritty, be like, this is the drywall mud I'm using at first, or this is the tape someone suggested. And then the next day I might, try and do something funny. Yeah, it's definitely a lot because attention spans are for sure getting shorter.
Yeah. So in the beginning, you just start posting just because your friends and like family were telling you to post, and then did it gradually go into this like almost tutorial type of videos?
Yeah, so originally I was just kind of gonna make like video edits. I wasn't even gonna post it. I was just gonna, even on my own personal Instagram, maybe I was gonna post it, but I was just gonna make edits because all of our friends would be like, "Whoa, like you did this?" And I was just like, "Yeah." And they're like, "How'd you do it?" I was like, "I don't know, I just YouTubed and did it." So I was just gonna make video edits to like share with my family and friends and be like, "Yeah, here's a minute of me how I did the laundry room," and just kind of like be a thing I was proud of.
Hmm.
And then casually like just scrolling through TikTok and Instagram, I to learn a bunch of stuff, I followed a bunch of creators. So I was like, hey, if they can do it, it wasn't like me being cocky or anything, but I was like, oh, I think I could, give that a shot too. I have some cool content. I think I have differing ways to present it that it would be
Hmm.
cool. And that's kind of how it evolved.
Yeah. Between Instagram and TikTok, which one's your favorite?
For me, Instagram, but I also, have a love for TikTok because TikTok's where I basically, so I quit my job when I was at 150,000 followers on TikTok, but only 700 on Instagram. followers.
Okay.
Yeah, so not even 1,000 followers. But I had gotten some brand deals with TikTok and stuff, but it was still very new. But like I said, TikTok, they'll come for blood in the comments, whereas Instagram, you can kind of create a more of a community base, if that makes
Yeah.
sense.
I have one question that actually someone DM'd me and asked me, and I didn't know the answer to it because I honestly don't understand TikTok as much. I'm on it. I just like one video went viral, and then after that, it was just like downhill from there. But someone that has a following on one form of social media and trying to grow on another one, any advice that you have for them?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is to not offer the exact same thing on both platforms. So,
Ooh,
right, if you're posting, for instance, I post the same Instagram reel and TikTok, it'll be the exact same.
yeah,
Um, but so like if someone found it on TikTok, why would they, if you didn't do anything different on Instagram, why would they
true.
follow you? And vice versa. So my original following was on TikTok and had almost nothing on Instagram. So on some of my posts of TikToks, I'd mention like, hey, if you want to see what I'm doing actually day to day, come to Instagram and check out my stories. Because I can't share my day to day on TikTok. I need
Yeah.
like it needs to be an actual minute long type of post. But if you want to see what I'm really doing and how fast I'm doing it, come over to Instagram.
Yeah, that makes sense because I mean, on Instagram you could do more. You could put videos. You could put I put my these whole Pro Series 30 to almost an hour episodes or pictures.
Yeah,
You can't do that on TikTok, so that makes sense.
exactly.
And then how do you get them to redirect you to your Instagram page or your YouTube?
Honestly, it's crazy as it is. A lot of it has just come from those like viral hits where then everyone
Mm.
just comes to your profile. And for a while in my or TikTok bio, I put like, if you want to see like daily updates, come to my Instagram, just in my bio. And then on my Instagram, I have like 200K plus followers on TikTok. So then I have links of it in my link in bio. They can like easily
Yeah,
travel back and forth. So that
yeah.
was kind of the way I thought about it.
Smart, smart. The last you mentioned that you quit your full-time job to pursue this full-time. Most people are probably like shaking their head like that you're crazy, or they want to do the same thing. They just don't have they just can't do that. They just don't have that in them to do it. What advice do you have for them with when it comes to that?
Right. For me, the biggest thing was it just comes down to, I guess, what you truly value. For me, it was like I really value at this time before I started a family and everything, I was like, I don't think I would have made the decision, you know, 30 years from now, 20 years from now. I think it would have been a much tougher decision to make.
Yeah,
And I felt good about my engineering position. And I feel like I talked to my company, Clark Construction, about it, and they were very supportive. Like it wasn't like I was just kind of like, screw you, I'm leaving. So I still had that ability to go back. Like I did a good job at that company. So I mean, obviously, I built up a following. At the time, like my first 3 months when I quit, I think I made total $2,000 from brand deals, and that was like very much scary. I was like, holy crap! And now 7 months, has it been 7 months later? Now I'm already at my full time income and growing.
that's
So
awesome.
just kind of bet on myself. I put away like 6 months of expenses.
Hmm.
Obviously, I had my wife. That makes it easier too. She's a teacher, so nothing. She's not like a crazy breadwinner, but like we had insurance and all that taken care of.
Stable, yeah.
So I felt comfortable making the jump, and I was honestly okay with failing. Like I was like I'd rather fail than not try at the end of the day,
Oh yeah,
and so I just went for it.
absolutely. You'll regret it if you didn't do it.
Yeah, and everyone, my friends will be like, I wish I could be like ballsy like you. And I'm like, I've made every right decision in my whole life. This was the
Yeah,
first one that I went off course. Like, I was like, I went to a good school. I did good in school. I studied hard. I got an engineering degree, which is like your most stable thing you could probably do. And I was like, I made every right decision. I was like, I think it's time for me to you know, just
yeah,
kind of step out on the plank and, see what happens.
yeah. That's funny you said that you friends would say like they wish they could do that and stuff. That's a big pet peeve of mine. Like me being an interior designer, people will come up and they're like, "You have my dream job." I'm like, "Well, But why aren't you working at it then? Like,
Yeah.
why don't you just make your dreams come true?
Yeah, and that's the thing. For like, if you wanted to be an interior designer, you could totally do that as a side hustle to start, and
Exactly.
then work with same thing. Like I would have been crazy if I had 0 followers on TikTok and Instagram and I quit and was like, I'm gonna do this full time.
Yeah.
That would be actually insane. But uh, by having and building up the following almost as my side hustle, because I was doing it outside of work hours and I was, building equity in my social medias,
Yeah.
I, felt way more comfortable because I was like, okay, I have, proof of concept. Like if something is working here, I don't know if I'll be able to make a full-time income, but at least I have something. And I, just went for it.
Yeah. Did you ever worry about when you started that? I mean, I feel like in our generation, a lot of people are starting like their own social media for something, some type of side
Mm,
gig. And lots of the time it doesn't work out at all.
yeah.
Did you ever feel like people were thinking that way, or do you still feel like people think that way towards you?
You talking about like friends and family or
Yeah,
just
yeah.
random people? Yeah. Oh yeah. And I actually talked about it with my wife. It's like, obviously you have the people that are super close, that are rooting for you all the way. But then the people that you probably haven't talked to in a couple of years that are probably watching all my stories, like low key rooting for the downfall and stuff. And I think it's human nature to a point, but it definitely is something in the back of your mind. But um, yeah, I feel like everyone should just go towards their happiness. So I want even like my enemies, or I don't have enemies, but like just be happy. And if you're in, like you said, into interior design, start it as a side hustle,
Yeah.
or do it for free. If you were like in Home Depot or Lowe's and you'd be like, hey, I want, I would love to like offer you a free design or whatever and come design your house, whatever, and they don't pay you anything. All they do is pay for their own materials and a contractor. And now you have a portfolio of like, look, I designed this. Now you go to the next person, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know,
And
I
that's the
think,
great thing with social media. You could start these side gigs and free market yourself. You don't have to like do what they did back in the day, go out to the mailbox and put flyers in or go to people's doors.
yeah, and social media, it's like a blessing and a curse because it's
Oh yeah.
almost like a necessity nowadays.
Mhm.
And with each new platform that comes out, it's almost you get stretched thinner and thinner.
Oh
So
yeah.
I know a ton of like creators and influencers in the DIY space. They had hundreds of thousands, maybe millions on Instagram, and then TikTok came out, and now they're like super stressed out because they're like, I feel like I have to be there now too, and it's already a lot. Then you still have
Yeah.
YouTube and whatever else comes out next, because there's something's coming in the next few years, probably again.
Oh yeah. How did you decide I mean, you're only on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, correct?
Hmm.
Why'd you decide those three?
So really, it was Instagram and TikTok were the main ones. I would love to do YouTube actual. So right now I'm just doing YouTube shorts, basically my reels and TikToks reposted at the end of the
Okay.
day. I really want to do actual, like, 15 to 20-minute videos, like, but the problem with YouTube is you have to video horizontal. So
Yeah.
now I can't repurpose that. I can't use that same. I'll have to get like two phones or do two videos of me doing the exact same thing, one
Yeah.
vertical and one horizontal. And I really want to do it, but like I said, then it's almost like if you're focused on TikTok or YouTube, now you're not focusing as much on Instagram and TikTok. Like you can't be focusing 100% on all of them at the same time,
Mhm.
which is frustrating.
Oh yeah, I feel that same way because I've never even tried to put the shorts on YouTube. I just put these episodes on YouTube, but I you see people that put their vertical videos in, like repurposing them from social media, and you can still do it, but just it doesn't look right.
It
And
doesn't have the same feel. Like one person that I look at, I'm like, how does she do it? Lexi.diy. She's in the same space. She has like almost 2 million on TikTok. I don't know how much on Instagram, maybe 100,000
yeah,
something, but then 300,000 on YouTube. And
yeah,
so she's posting like TikToks, reels, stories, actual 20-minute YouTube videos, going live on TikTok, going live on YouTube. And I'm like, I don't know how you do it. I really
yeah.
don't.
I talked to her like a month and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
She was on an episode of the podcast as well. Yeah, and
Oh,
I was
nice.
the same way. I've never gotten to the live. Oh, I've gotten to one live. It wasn't mine, but it almost kind of scares me. Never know what's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
exactly. I've done a couple and they've gone well, but you just never know what's gonna happen or especially in cancel culture
Mhm.
nowadays. Like you say one thing and you're done. And it's
Yep.
just it just freaks me out a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But she does a great job with all that. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, and I think um, it's just kind of. I mean, it's nice to have how creators are all there for each other for the most part.
Yeah.
We do have like those followers that are like trolls and they'll message you and comment on you, but it's nice how at least I've found a lot of creators are very nice and they're willing to help and kind of promote you as well. And I think I hope that continues down the road.
Yeah, I think it is. It's such a new space, and going it like from the outside before you really become a creator and stuff, you would see people complain of like they'll have millions of followers and they'll post a story of them complaining about something or some comment, and you'd be from the outside like, oh, they need to suck it up, like they have everything, like they don't know what they're doing. But then once you start getting them and then you're like, okay, I kind of see where they're coming from, and you start to feel the burnout if a video doesn't do as well as you thought,
Yeah,
or stuff like that, and it happens quickly. And I think all creators kind of feel that and are there to kind of hype each other up and be there understanding, because it's a new space and it's tough.
yeah. I think people often think it's influencers and creators are the same thing, and they kind of associate. They already have an image of what an influencer is, and they're totally two opposite types of
I
things.
say that all the time. I like people like my friends will joke around and they'll be like, I actually, we were just like walking around our neighborhood the other day and someone had recognized me or whatever. And my friends were like, oh, you're like a total influencer now. It's like I hate that word. I cringe at
Yeah,
it. I was like,
same.
I'm a just creator. Like I
Yeah,
don't influencer sounds like you're trying to, I don't know, manipulate somebody, or you're
yeah,
a life and you're
yeah.
not bringing a substance, I
Yeah.
guess.
The way I explain it to people is influencers are people that are influencing products or whatever their lifestyle, and
Yeah.
we're creating our posts. Like, not that they're not creating, and their lives are also hard too, but we're
Yes.
creating the content for it. Like, it's literally our job to create the content.
And it's value there. It's not
Yeah,
just entertainment. There's also like value. You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Yeah,
Whereas influencers, it's usually just entertainment. Like, oh, this person is entertaining it, or this person is good looking, whatever the case may be.
yeah,
But I
just
feel like as a content creator, you're creating value on top of it.
yeah. It's like watching a reality show and then watching an HGTV show.
Exactly. 100%.
Well, I want to end. Well, thank you for coming on. And I want to end with you telling us where everybody could follow you at on all three platforms.
Yeah, pretty much across the board. It's at Real Life Renovation, 1L. So it's like REALIFE Renovation. It's going to be Instagram, TikTok, and then YouTube is pretty much going to be the same. I'm sure if you type that in, it'll come up. But yeah, just trying to keep it real, show the real side of the renovations, not like nice video edits where I cut out my mistakes, because I think a lot of social media has become that, whether photo editing, video editing,
Yep.
filters. And I think a lot of people can, from at least from the messages I get, feel inspired by seeing someone make a mistake. And it's not in a bad way. It's like, I know when I was watching other people, I'd be like, oh, they did that so perfect. Like, I would never be able to do it, so I'll never even try. Whereas some people are like, I saw you mess up 3 times, but you figured it out and it still looks great. Now you actually inspired me to try.
Absolutely.
So,
Makes
yeah,
you
real
more
life
relatable.
innovation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Awesome.
So,
Well, thank you so much, Alex, for coming on the podcast. Can't wait to get this out and definitely stay in touch.
yeah, I appreciate you having me here.
Awesome. Have a great